Hi, I'm Barbara Carr with Fuse Empire. Today, I'll be talking about how to create a consistent and credible brand on social media. First, let's jump into why you should use social media. Well, the obvious answer is that everyone is there. In some way or fashion, everybody's on social media, whether that is on Facebook or on LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat. Pretty much anyone you talk to would agree that they are on at least one social media channel. That doesn't mean that they utilize it often or even effectively, but for the most part, people are at least scrolling somewhere. And so that's a good reason in itself to be on social media, especially if you're a business owner. The other good reason for being a business owner is that it is free marketing still. Now, I know that there are some times when you have to pay for ads to get real traction, but when you do your organic marketing correctly, you can actually get really great traction for free on social media. That's one of the things that we do in our company. That's one of the things we teach in our company. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure that you reach out to me. Let's talk about some of the myths about social media, because I hear these all the time and I just want to break them or debunk them. The first one is I've heard people say, well, you need to be on every platform in order to get any results. And that's simply not true. In fact, I tell people that you should only be on the platforms that your target audience is on, because otherwise it's like talking to a brick wall. Why would you be on Snapchat if you don't primarily target towards the younger generation? That's an example. Snapchat is used by young kids like high school, college, even middle school, possibly people in their early 20s. Most often, it doesn't mean people outside of that bracket don't use Snapchat. It just means that's the highest number of users is in that demographic. And so if you don't care to market to that demographic, you don't need to be on that platform. The next one that I hear often is that you need to post all the time to see any results. That's not true either. And today, not only are the algorithms in the social media platforms looking for quality over quantity, but so are your viewers. They are more excited to see something of value than to just see something posted every 5 hours just to put something out. So even if you only posted once per week or even once a month at the least, if it's quality and valuable, your audience will still use it, they'll still engage, they'll appreciate it. The next myth that I hear often is that there is one platform that is better than the rest. And usually the person who tells me that, the platform that they believe is better than the rest is the one they are most comfortable using. And it's normal that we prefer the platform that we like the best, but that doesn't mean that's where your target is, and that doesn't mean that they like that platform the best or that you'll even find them on there. Another myth, you must be on the hottest new platform. I recently did a video where I talked about TikTok, and I saw everybody's face on the Zoom call confused. So then I had to ask the question, has anybody here heard of TikTok? And most people on the call hadn't. TikTok isn't really that new, but it is new to the business world. In fact, Gary Vaynerchuk has been like the pioneer of doing business on TikTok. But again, if your target audience is not a young generation, you don't need to be on TikTok. If you're using LinkedIn, obviously, you know, LinkedIn is a professional network. I have another video where I talk about all the differences in the different platforms. You can find that on my YouTube channel. But for right now, I'm going to stay focused on what we're doing today. Next, let's talk about identifying who your message is for. Before you could throw a message out there, you need to know what your message is and who it's for. Who needs to hear the message that you have? Where do they hang out? What struggles do they have? How can you help them? All of these things should be figured out and identified before posting a bunch of stuff on social media. Otherwise, you're posting stuff that nobody cares about, or at least not your target audience, because if you don't know who your target audience is, if you've not well defined them, how do they know it's them when they see your marketing? How do they know, oh, I need that, that's for me? They won't know because you don't even know who you're marketing to. So you need to know who you're marketing to, and what your message is. Then you need to know, the next question that I get often is, when should you post? People are always looking for the exact date and time that's going to get them the best results. I hate to break it to you, but there is no one size fits all cookie cutter best time to post on social media, for a couple of reasons. Number one, that changes regularly, pretty much weekly. The numbers that they put out there statistically as a whole for the generation, as a general populated whole, it changes almost weekly on what that day and time is each week. However, and also, your friends are on at a different time than my friends are. For instance, you might have people on your friends list that are up at 1 a.m. And I might have people on my friends list who aren't up at 1 a.m., but maybe they're up at 5 a.m. And then the time that my friends are online on LinkedIn might be very different than those same friends that are online on Facebook. So my same connections might be visiting different platforms at different times. If you try to keep up with those numbers, you'll lose your mind, and social media will feel more overwhelming than it has to be. So my recommendation is to focus on frequency. How frequently should you post on social media? And that number is going to depend upon how comfortable you are with social media, how much time you have on your hands, whether you're doing that yourself or someone else is hired out to do it for you. Ideally, I try to tell people that you at least want 1 to 2 posts per week. But if you just don't have the time to do that or the money to hire someone to do it, at least get 1 new thing out per month, at the very least, so that your engagers and your audience do see that you still exist. But whatever number you choose, however frequently you choose to post, be consistent with that and be regular, because your audience will notice if something changes. What should you post on social media, you might be asking right now? Well, you should be posting what your audience is interested in, because that's what drives engagement. You should also post things that you are interested in, because that gives a personal touch to what you're posting. It allows people to feel personally connected with you if you are posting about your family or your pets or your hobbies or your interests or the book that you're reading or the store that you're shopping at, or just there's a lot of different options for you to add your own personality into your post, and I do recommend doing so. One question I get a lot is it okay to post personal stuff on your business page or business stuff on your personal page? The answer is an easy yes, because people buy from people, not from brands. People do become loyal to brands as they've used them often, but they generally buy from a person. Even when you bought Pepsi for your first time, you probably bought it because you tried Pepsi at someone else's house or party, or your parent gave it to you when you were a child, or there's a lot of different reasons, or maybe the cashier sold it to you, or you are most likely to buy from a person rather than a brand until you feel loyal to that brand. So you do want to add personality and personal posts into your business and vice versa. The magic number is 80-20. So if you're on your personal page, 80% of those posts should be personal. 20% could be business. And on the flip side, if you're on your business page, 80% of those posts should be business and 20% should be personal. or it can be personal. You don't have to put personal in there, but I strongly recommend it. Next, where can you start with social media? Well, the first thing is start by being visible. Just start by being on there. If you don't have a presence yet, get on there. But remember, don't jump on every platform trying to be everything all at once. Figure out where your audience is, get on there and get visible. And start small. Start with only 1 or 2 platforms at a time. If you feel like you need to do more platforms or be on more than just a couple, do them over time. Don't just jump on 6 platforms all at once. Not only will it overwhelm you, but it will confuse your audience. So start small and then be where your audience is. If your audience hangs out on LinkedIn, then be on LinkedIn, even if you don't like LinkedIn, even if you're not comfortable with LinkedIn, even if you don't know how to use LinkedIn. You'll need to learn those things. So you've got to be where your audience is. Post at least a few times a month if you can, and then engage with others. So don't just get on social media and post. You want to engage with other people because that's what makes them engage with you. Like other people's posts, share other people's posts, put comments out on other people's posts. Be a real human being as if you're looking at them eye to eye in person. A couple of things I want you to keep in mind as you're going forward with your social media efforts. The first thing is that organic marketing is a long-term game. You're not going to see results overnight. I should say results don't typically happen overnight because there might be 1 in a million that does see results overnight. But usually when you're doing organic marketing, which means you are not paying for people to see what you have out there, it typically takes a while to see return on investment. And one of the things I tell people when I'm doing social media for them, or even if someone else is, even if it's not our company, even if you're doing it yourself, you should expect 6 to 12 months of putting in consistent effort before you actually start getting customers from your social media. It doesn't mean you won't get any customers during that time, but chances are people need to build that know, like, and trust factor, and that doesn't happen quickly. 6 to 12 months is a number I like to put in people's heads because ideally, if you get that in 3 to 6 months, you're happy, right? You're not disappointed because you're like, whoa, this is quicker than I thought. If you happen to see results in 1 to 2 months, you're ecstatic. You're like, whoa, Barbara said 6 to 12 months, this is happening already. Well, if that's the case, you're doing something great. And I applaud you for that and keep doing it. It's not impossible to see results that quickly, but just know for the average person, it will take 6 to 12 months. Some people it might take longer than that, and some people it might take less than that. But on average, you should plan 6 to 12 months to see real results after you've been consistently posting things of value. Your audience needs to understand what you do, because if they don't understand what you do, they won't be interested in what you post, which means that they won't buy. Your audience should be able to relate to you, because if they can't, they'll be moving on to somebody they can relate to. You need to allow your audience to connect with you, whether that means being able to send you a message, commenting on your post, reaching out to you, scheduling an appointment with you. They need to be able to connect with you if they feel they need to. If your brand is confusing, your audience won't hear it. If you don't know who you're marketing to, your audience won't hear it. You've got to be very, very clear on these things before jumping in. I highly recommend creating a marketing strategy, or at least a marketing plan, before jumping in and starting to do social media, because otherwise you might confuse people and it could hurt your brand a whole lot more than it helps it. So let me give you some tips on how to make the most of your efforts on social media. The first thing is to be consistent with your brand. If you have a logo, which you should, it should be on all of your social media profiles. If you have a tagline, not everyone does, but if you do, that should be on all of your platforms. Whatever colors your brand colors are should be recognized on every one of your platforms. Be consistent with your message. If you decide that your target market is XYZ, make sure that you're speaking to that target market. Don't speak to them one day and then the next day have a whole different target audience. That's confusing to you and your customers. And as you probably can guess, if people are confused, they don't feel comfortable to buy. That know, like, and trust factor goes right out the window if you're confused. Remember that consistency creates credibility, and that credibility creates engagement. Engagement creates raving fans, and raving fans is what's ultimately going to lead to your profitability. But it all starts with consistency. I have a free 100-point checklist on my website that you can download to see how to make your brand consistent and credible. If you go to my website at fusemarketingandmedia.com and go to any page, and on the sidebar, there is an option for the free 100-point checklist. Another option that you could do is take advantage of my online presence analysis, which basically is that 100-point checklist, but instead of you going through it trying to figure it out, it is my team going through all of your social media profiles and your website and anything we can find online for you. And then we have a meeting with you. The other thing you could do is take advantage of our online presence analysis. It's very similar to the 100-point checklist that you could download for free, except you don't have to do the work on this. My team does the work. So let me tell you more about the online presence analysis. When you sign up to receive this service, we research you and your company. We find the good, the bad, and the ugly of how you show up online and how your audience is seeing you. We tell you the things that they won't tell you. We tell you how to fix the things that you might be doing wrong that might be hurting your brand quickly, easily, and usually for pretty cheap. You get to keep a copy of the call that you and I have, and also a copy of the 100-point checklist that we fill out for you as we do our research on you and your company. And so the best way, if you're interested in having an online presence analysis, it's currently discounted for COVID at 50% off. We don't know when that's going to end yet. We're kind of playing it by ear based on how the world goes with this whole pandemic. But if you're interested, you could go to my website at fusemarketingandmedia.com/OPA. The OPA stands for Online Presence Analysis. You can also find YouTube videos from me and my company with free training just like this if you search for Fuse Empire on YouTube. I will also post the link for the YouTube channel as well. Now, if you would like to, thank you for listening, and I hope that this has given you a little bit of insight on how to create a consistent and credible brand on social media. And I do hope that you download my free 100-point PDF or take advantage of the online presence analysis while it's 50% off, because I'm really looking forward to helping you grow your business and your brand. But remember that it all starts with consistency. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. If you like this video, please like my page and share it with others. If you like this video, please subscribe to this channel and share it with others. Have a great day.